Okay, we're back. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you how this radio looks installed in the cabinet. Again, this is the Atwater Kent 60C. The cabinet is not restored. In fact, I'm recommending to the customer that they restore it. There's some blemishes and so forth on the cabinet, but it's still a beautiful cabinet. And the Atwater Kent made it particularly easy to install the radio in the cabinet. So let's take a look inside. As you can see on the 60C in this particular cabinet, the radio unit mounts to the bottom and the speaker mounts to the top part of the cabinet. And it's really quite a nice arrangement. Let's go ahead and plug it in. I'm going to try and do this one-handed. I'm not very good at this one-handed video thing yet, so just have a little patience with me. Let me see if, let's go off camera just for a second and look at this airline while I do that. It's well, this is great video technique, making you wait. Okay, so we got her plugged in. Let's go ahead and turn on the Atwater Kent. And here we go. Okay, I had forgotten to hook an antenna up, so I hooked a tunable loop antenna up to this radio. And I've discussed this in an earlier video, and tunable loop is one of my favorite ways to bring a signal into a receiver. So anyway, let's go ahead and turn this back on and see how we do. Now it's kind of warmed up, so it won't take long to come up.
After you're out of luck, sorry. Because we've got a clock. You're SOL.
I'll show you how this tunable loop works.
Geraldine Kiley? Is Geraldine Kiley?
You hook it up in the normal antenna place.
Keep it going, you know what? All right.
And you can actually really get a good strong signal by tuning the antenna. There's a sweet spot on the antenna for every station. And tunable loop is especially good for these early 30s, late 20s, early 30s radios that were intended for a long wire antenna, because a tunable loop removes the need for the long wire and enables one to receive actually a stronger signal with just the compact loop, and it also tunes out a lot of the noise that the long wire would pick up. So let's go ahead and tune around a little bit on this radio.
Get your ID out and grab a couple tickets to the Holy War. We'll come back with the Zion Bank breakdown live at...
Oops, it helps to have the volume turned up. Okay, well, it turns out I had knocked the antenna lead loose from the antenna connector on the back of the radio, so I was unable to tune one in for a minute. So here we go. Picked another station.
Well, is the game all of a sudden, when he walks on the field, going to be too big for him? Let's take a look. We've seen that happen.
And the thing about these radios, without an automatic volume control, when you're tuning around, you have to kind of turn the volume down. But then if you forget, then you think you don't have reception and you just have the volume turned down.
Another media outfit, that's just for the information, but really the key is personal contact. And priest reach out. If a priest does not reach out, I forgot what the percentage is, but applications to the priesthood were because some guy went up to a scholar who's written books in both English and in Japanese, and he's also a scholar. Tell us who he is. Bring him into the picture, Todd. It's a great privilege to have a friend, new friend, called Ted Yamamori, who was on.
So when you get a little practice with this, you can do the tunable loop and the tuning with both two hands and do it at the same time.
Orthopedic Center. to get you back on the field. Call 801-314-4040 to schedule a free initial injury assessment. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
So this is kind of a cool radio. They're a little tricky. TRFs are a little bit tricky to get used to, but they sure make pretty sets. And this one is no exception. And you can see it's actually a lot of nice attractive wood. And Atwater Kent made it real easy as far as installing the cabinet or the radio into the cabinet. You just basically set the chassis in place. It just slides in. There's nothing, no bolts securing it or anything like that. And then the speaker just hangs off of a hanger that's built into the cabinet. It's real nice. So really there's it's easy to transport this thing because you can take the radio out of the cabinet very easily. And it's actually a really nice set. This cabinet has some difficulties, but I'm hoping that they'll get it restored. Let's look closely at the cabinet. It's a real nice, simple unit to look at. A little more complicated to work on than you think, but it's a nice radio. Tune around the band just a little bit more.
The way that this game is going to go. We'll get to official score predictions here in about.
And I know this area, and there's not a lot at this end of the dial.
We want to challenge them running the ball. We feel we've got a pretty stout runner in Jamal Williams. Not only that, we got a pretty.
Anyway, there you have it. 1929, I believe. 1929 Atwater Kent Model 60C. That's all for today. Okay, I thought I'd try one more thing. With the tunable loop, the reception was okay. But I thought I'd give it a try with a really long antenna. So I've run an antenna of about 110 feet outside. And boy, what a difference that makes. I'm really surprised by that. Now I live just as the hill climbs as you get toward a mountain range on the west side of the Salt Lake Valley. So I'm a little bit above much of the valley, but not super high. So reception can be tricky where I'm at, and that's in Salt Lake City. Reception can be a little bit tricky. Some days are better than others, as is true in most places. But boy, I tell you, a long antenna really made a difference. Now, that's not convenient for a lot of people, but I happen to know that this customer lives on a farm in it lives in a rural area, and they'll be able to run a long antenna.
About how, as a blind, more than the first step,
Or have a tax lien filed. Our experts
begin by
believing. Demick says.
Muy buenas tardes a todo el público allá en su colonia pobre.
Heard of mountain lions, and the funny thing is, he's got bears. He's got bears on these trail cams on his property outside of Oakley, Utah.
Now, the other thing that's amazing is most of the trail cam pics I see are light enhanced.
So it made quite a difference. So I'm going to leave that up to the customer, what they want to do. Just wanted to show you this last little tidbit. Okay, that's really all for today. Thank you.